Zev and Jacob, this video is for you. Now you guys are 8, you're running around growing up, and it's about time that you really study how to tell time. Time to tell time. But how do you tell time? Well, you have to be taught. And it's not easy because especially with the digital world, all your toys, your iPads and your phones, they all have digital time. But the concept of time and the way to teach you how to read a traditional clock, that's what I'm going to build for you here. So I'm going to build you a teaching clock, a wooden teaching clock. And the way we're going to do that is start with a template. 12 inches, we know, 12 inches across, perfect circle, and then we're going to take a dowel pre-cut. Now, I guess if I was a purist, I would have cut it myself, but I don't have the tools or the equipment. I mean, I can do it. I don't have the equipment. My friend does, but I didn't want to bother him. So we'll start with one of these. And before we get going, I want to show you some of the tools that it takes. These are templates. These are made out of plastic. I'll show you. They're very, very thin. And they're pre-sized, predetermined holes that are perfect. Then you have a powerful mechanical clock, pencil, if you will. And the pencil here gives you a lot to scroll on wood without too much. And then a pen gives you a lot more ink. And then a marker to mark little dots. Now, if we're going to do curves, and we will, this is a tool that we use that allows you to bend like Gumpy, and you can have specific curves and so forth, and shape them to perfect sizes. Or if we go back to the templates, you can make sure that you have a perfect arc. Voila, good tool to have. And then least but not least, the protractor, very important. So you can measure your angles, because telling time and building a clock that will teach you how to read time, you need to have very precise angles. That is key. First thing we're going to do is find out the center. Now this is 12 inches. And to find out exactly where the center is, take our handy dandy mechanical pencil and line it up just in the middle here. Looks pretty good at the 12 level. 12 inches here, 12 inches there. One scour. That's your horizontal line. And then we come back and we do another one here. Now, this method here, I think I'm off. You can see they're not perfect quarters. And to test this, I'm gonna put this sucker right in the middle. It's off. You see, it's not balanced right. So I measured a little off. I think I'm off by a 1/4 inch on the vertical. Much better. And again, see, put the pencil right in the middle there. still tilting a little bit. A little here. Now if I had the proper angle and the declination equipment, which I don't, with a T-square, and I know some guys having a conniption I'm doing this, but this is pretty reasonable. Floats pretty well right in the center point, which is right here. And now perfect, we can measure from here to here. It's 12 on the button. And then we can get our measurements. So if you know about a circle, 360 degrees. Half of that, 180. 90. So from here to here is 90 degrees. So we'll come up here, and voila. Perfect angle. You can see that it measures accurately. 90 degrees. So I got my calculations right. So from 90, if we cut at 45 degrees, right up here, take this line, cut across to the center. So if this is our true up 12 o'clock position, 45 degrees, 90 degrees. 45 and 45 degrees, always good to mark it, and this will be top up here. So you can see 12 position up here. And then we have 45, 45, they add to 90 degrees. And then to figure out exactly the timepiece, we want to add the hours with this wonderful template that I use that gives you all the angles. See? Up here. And so if I measure 30 degrees from the horizontal, that will give me a very precise idea and then 30, and that'll give me the exact angle that we need for the hours. If we bring it back, up here, voila. It's all a matter of angles. You get them and you cut them just right, and then by the time we're done, of course I did this in advance, you have the perfect circle that comes around up here. And then when you get all the different angles and the markers, this is what it looks like. And I cut a hole right in the middle, and that's where my pinions go. And I got 2 of them. Brass, it'll never rust. This one is a little longer than the other one. This one will have more complications, and I'll get to that in a second. Complications are a good thing in horology. That's the study of clockmaking. So this is the pinion. It's 3/8 of an inch, And this will be the base or the axle by which our clock will be built on. And then if you go back up here, you can see where I've marked all the specific points with exact angles as to where we're going to put the numbers. Now, the numbers. One could draw them. It looks kind of amateurish. Or you could go ahead and go to your beloved Amazon, and you can order these wonderful wooden pre-cut numbers. Now, if I was a purist and I was much better, I would cut these myself, but I don't have the equipment. I can do it, but don't have the equipment. So these are pre-cut, $5.99, and you get a certain series. And I mean, look at it. They're beautiful. They're made out of wood. They're sanded and polished, but not stained. So I'm going to put them all throughout, but I want to make sure that it's legible, right? The 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, of course, 12, the 0 marker right up here. So I took all these wonderful letters that I showed you, all these wooden ones up here, and I took this wonderful stain, this beautiful Minwax with a reddish hue to it, wood stain. With this brush, dipped it in, dab, 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 just a drop. You don't want to oversaturate it. And don't want to get this dirty either. Then result is that I stained the numbers earlier. Beautiful stain to them. I don't know if you can see them in this light, but they're gorgeous. Got a red tint to them. And they're natural. They're not too dark. Here's one. The complex ones were difficult, like the 4 and the 3, because there are many angles that you had to cover to make sure that it's stained right, because you want it on a good background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my faceplate, which I haven't stained at all, and you can see the color that they'll be. This is number 8, so you can see the contrast will be pretty good on that. And then what I'll do is I'll glue them. It's high intensity glue. A little dab will do you, not too much. And then once I do that, I will put in the shaft. Hey, fumble fingers. Everybody makes boo-boos. And the hole is 3/8 of an inch. And I did that perfectly with the drill earlier, because those are the size of the threads, so it sits comfortably. And on that, I had pre-cut small hands, right? The thick small one, that's for the hour, and the taller version for the minutes. And notice I stain them on both sides so you get a perfect relief. You can see the whole 3/8, which is the same size as here, up here, and the black marker. And so there's a certain sequence to it. And what I want to show you is that all of this is going to be hard if it doesn't rest or sit on something. So I bought this. Again, I should have made it, but I didn't. This is a wonderful book stand made out of bamboo with a nice Japanese pattern to it. And I drilled a hole in the back, again 3/8 of an inch. And I got these cool brass nut and bolt and all these washers and ringers. So you can see where they fit, right in the back. And they're tilted at an angle because this is a teaching clock, right? So I drilled it in there, put this puppy in there, and then this is the sequence it's going to go. So put this brass ring, because you want the pressure to be uniform. And then screw in the faceplate. Got some rubber rings, O-rings. Now, in a fine watch, this is what we call the jewel to reduce friction. Put one in here. And then the fat shorthand, this gap here, short will tell hours. And again, I grooved them so they fit absolutely perfect and they have a little bit of resistance. Not much, just a little. And then another jewel, rubber, a plastic gasket. And then the minutes. Longer, thinner minutes. And hopefully by now you can see that the color variation is striking. Plastic, another jewel, brass ring. Brass looks cool, will never rust, and it's very smooth. The wing nut. And then we'll set it right up here. Of course, once it tightens, it won't move. And then just to give you an idea of the color, 8. I'll put them in here. And you'll be able to point. It's 8 o'clock. 15 minutes after 8. 8 o'clock exactly. 8:30. 8:45. 8:50. 55. And we'll move it up here. 9. And that's how the mechanism is going to work. Now I'm going to go and disassemble it. I'm going to glue it. And we'll show you that part in a moment.